This movie was definitely one of the hardest movies I've ever made in my entire life, whether it was the challenge of physically hiking up mountains or crossing freezing rivers. At one point, we're hanging off the side of a precipice, on Mount Hood with just belay ropes and sliding off the mountain. So that part was incredibly hard. But the other aspect that was so difficult was the emotional truth and honesty of this film. And there's so many gritty scenes that I had to tackle. That was definitely very daunting. Jean-Marc Vallée is such a visionary. He just had such an idea exactly what the soundtrack was in his mind before we ever shot a frame of footage. So that inspired us on the set. We knew what songs would be playing, we knew what songs we would sing. And also just visually, he has a way with cutting back and forth in time that really created this emotional mystery that we were on. You don't really discover why Cheryl's on this hike till halfway through the film. And then, as soon as you do, you're just rooting for her to finish. This story is a universal story. It's a story about this hike that a woman takes, but it deals with themes about losing a parent, dealing with divorce, sex, drugs, things that are affecting everybody's lives. So I think, the parts of the film that everybody can relate to are the idea that this woman has no money, no parents, no opportunities, and she somehow manages to save her own life. About 3 years ago, Bruna Papandreou and I just sort of were looking around and realizing that they weren't developing that many great leading roles for women in film. Complex, interesting, dynamic women, good, bad, everything. So we decided to form a company, and one of the first projects we bought was Wild. Cheryl Strait had sent me the book, and I gave it to Bruna, and we just decided that was going to be one of our first projects because it is such a strong woman at the center of it, but it is, for any reason, could be a man in this story. It's just a human story about discovering yourself. I was so excited to make this film in Oregon. It's one of the most beautiful places I'd ever been in my life, and it was so important for us to make it a love letter to the Pacific Northwest, that you saw these great landscapes with this tiny person in the middle. It really shows you how profound nature can be in healing yourself and recovering from great grief and loss. I hope that people will see the film and find the beauty in Cheryl's words. I mean, so much of what she says is these big life ideas, but she has this way of saying them that just make you feel like, yes, that's it. That's exactly how I feel. That, fear is a story that we tell ourselves, or, forward was the only direction I could go. Some of these things that she says in the film are so profound to me. You know, And I really hope that people feel hopeful at the end of this movie. It's a story of loss and heartbreak, but it's also a triumph. And it has this wonderful, hopeful ending that you can save your own life. I was so ecstatic that Nick Hornby responded to this book, and he actually reached out to me and Bruna and wanted to adapt the book into the screenplay. He did a great job restructuring the book, creating more of an emotional mystery where you kind of discover why Cheryl's on this hike halfway through the film. And I think that really helps build your curiosity in the beginning. For the whole first third of the movie, you can't figure out why this woman is so miserable and why she's on this hike. And then you do discover it, and then you just can't wait for her to triumph. Jean-Marc Vallée has such a wonderful ear for music and chose the soundtrack before we ever shot one piece of footage on the film. He knew that he really wanted El Condor Pasa to be the theme of the film. So he, gave it to Laura Dern and gave it to me, and we all learned it, and we all sing it in various places in the film. It opens the film, it closes the film, and I think it's extraordinary that you're hearing music from different time periods. So some are memories, some are contemporary, and they all form this beautiful patchwork that guides you on this journey. It's great to work with Laura Dern. She's one of these actresses who's just a chameleon. She manages to take something so small and put so much heart and soul into it. And the love story at the center of this film is what really makes you understand. The loss of Cheryl's mother is what propels her on this journey. And if you don't understand why they loved each other so fiercely, you don't understand why she is in such pain. It was just a dream to work with Laura, and Thomas Sadowski was an incredible partner in the film. He just held my hand. We fought together. We loved each other, and he just brings so much to that relationship. Gabby Hoffman, who plays my best friend Amy, is just so truthful and direct, and she really had that great sort of motherly, sisterly relationship to Cheryl in the film that is pivotal to her wanting to create great change in her life.